Don't get me wrong, by the way, I love this epic, like really a lot. Oh, cut. Hello everyone, it is iReversal and welcome back to some more Knights and Dragons. Today we're going to be talking about the new guild war that has been announced, the War of Eostre. And have some funny things to say about this war, a lot of things that are going on. It's going to be fairly interesting to see what's going to happen in the actual guild war. But to start off with, Eostre is actually a funny name. Eostre really is the goddess that is associated with flowers and springtime. It is also known as the namesake of the festival of Easter. And Ostara is actually the name of the goddess in some way. It's like different types of languages like flowing over each other. Basically, this is the War of Eostre, and Easter is going to start on the 20th of April. Unfortunately, next war is going to be a Fusion Fighters Blitz, so that's where we're not going to have a epic war. So I really felt that they really did nicely to actually call this the War of Eostre, or Eostre if you will. So let's actually talk about the war. So first of all, I really like the fact that this war gets announced so early. As you guys can see, there's like 3 days before the war actually starts. It's going to be on Friday. It's going to be fairly interesting. The war is always on Friday, so you guys can get used to that. And it really kind of gives guilds the opportunity to prepare in advance. So that's kind of a plus point from my side there for Greed, because it's really nice if you can actually prepare for something like this. Not like it comes one day in advance. You don't really have anything to work for. So also, the fact that this isn't a 4-day war makes it all the better, you know. We all know how much we dislike the 4-day war. Some people might beg to differ in that one, but in general a lot of people were very unhappy or unsatisfied with the 4-day wars, and some people were actually prepared to quit the game if there was going to be another 4-day war. So I think in a way, Gree really took that feedback pretty seriously, so great job on them adapting to the situation. So as you guys can see in the background, you guys see some flowers. As you guys already know, the goddess of war, or the goddess of Easter, it has something to do, is associated with flowers and springtime. And as springtime has just begun, well, I'd say like 2 weeks ago or something like that, the birds are chirping and the flowers are blooming, as you guys can see in the background as well. And starting off springtime, we have an amazing new epic called the Arclite Shroud. I mean, look at it. The arrival of the Arclite Shroud has been leaving me with some sort of a feeling of conspiracy from Gree's side. But I'll be talking about that more in depth later. But the reason why I'm saying this really is because 2 recent war epics are sort of getting blown out of the quote-unquote water as we speak with the arrival of this new epic. I'm not saying that this wasn't going to happen, but all I can say, this is happening, and it's happening quite fast in my opinion. Now, before we go in much more detail about that, what I just said, let's actually take a look at the epic itself. So the Arclite Shroud looks amazing. I like the way the design looks, I really do. The flames shooting out of the sword and the gaps in between makes it look really cool. Very scary looking weapon there. Also, unfortunately, we really cannot see the shield. From what I can see and from what I can tell, it is actually a shield, and that sounds really awkward, really strange, Captain Obvious type of thing, but by that I really mean they layered something cool over the shield, making it look really awesome. I cannot see more than that, so that's kind of like, I really feel that they should like reveal the entire armor, because that way people can actually be like, hey, I want to go for this armor or not. Maybe a marketing point from Gree's side. But more about the armor itself. The helmet, I had it written down, but the helmet really reminds me of the Hellfire Plate Mail in a way. So what I can say is that I see this as the brother of the Hellfire Plate Mail. The Hellfire Plate Mail is a very defensive armor, while the Arclite Shroud is a very offensive type. So there's like 2 brothers clashing against each other, trying to compete which one is better and which one isn't. Kind of a Naruto reference or something like that, if you know what I'm talking about. So unfortunately, we cannot see more from this armor, but so far I really like what I see. I really want to get this armor if it's actually becoming fusible, but then we'll probably have to wait for 1 year until we get so far. But oh yeah, about the elements of the armor. it is Earth and Fire which we're talking about. It's a really strong combination because Earth element has weakness against Spirit, but luckily the Fire elements takes care of that. So the only real weakness here is Water. So let's actually take a look at the rewards here. So the stats of the Arclite Shroud is really insane. You guys already know this much. The total combined stats of the Arclite Shroud pretty much results into 4104 for the plus stat, being it the highest combined total stats of the game, along with the Centurion Aegis. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, total combined stats, I'm basically adding up the attack stat and the defensive stat together, making it 4104 attack, 4104 total stats combined, making it equally as strong as the Centurion Aegis. However, the Centurion Aegis is a water monotype, so really the Arclite Shroud can be considered the strongest armor in the game right now. So let's actually take a look at rank 11 to rank 25. I haven't seen it yet. But, oh, it's Tectonic. Tectonic is somewhat of a older epic. To be honest, I didn't really expect this one to show up. I was hoping for Armor of the Devoted, as you guys know already. Luckily, this epic isn't that much worse than the Maelstrom Irons and the Forged Stone Aegis. It's just that this epic is a mono Earth, so that's not really making it all that great in my opinion. Let's actually take a look at the legendary. We have the it's Clayplate Mantle. This is probably the thing I'm most disappointed about personally right now, the legendary. We are getting the old Clayplate Mantle. Well, it's not really all that old. It used to be really awesome, by the way. It used to be the old Tectonic. Like when Tectonic wasn't out, I believe in November or something around that is where epics got introduced. And that is where the Clayplate Mantle was the epic, the armor to beat. Was the strongest armor for a while, actually, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. You guys can quote me on that. But alright, this is an alright decent legendary. It's not really the best, but definitely not the worst. However, with the recent epic bosses, and I'll keep on saying this, this should really just be fusion material only. You don't want to use this in your lineup, as there are plenty of armors that are way better than this one. So, previously in this episode, I said that with the arrival of the Arclite Shroud, I felt there was somewhat of a conspiracy going around from Greece side. Well, allow me to actually introduce you to two epics, two war epics, so to speak. We're talking about the Runic Robes and the Soul Vanguard. Now, these two armors have been war epics less than 3 months ago. Remember, for less than 3 months. That's like a really short amount of time ago. Why am I educating you guys about what 3 months really is? So, the Runic Robes actually got released on the 20th of January, that's when the war ended, and the Soul Vanguard was released less than 1 month ago. The reason why I'm saying conspiracy from Greece side is that I just find it terrible of Greece and pretty harsh at the same time that they kind of throw this epic out like already. By the way, don't get me wrong, I really like the way the epic looks, I really love the epic by the way, but I just really feel bad for the people who have been trying really hard recently in order to get either the Runic Robes or the Soul Vanguard. The bottom line of all of this really is that the Arclite Shroud is better than these two armors in every single perspective possible. That means the regular version of the armor and both the plus version of the armor really exceeds the stats like massively. So the defensive stats of the Arclite Shroud is obviously better than the Soul Vanguard, as the Soul Vanguard is a heavily offensive type. But the attack stat is exactly the same in both the plus version and the regular version. So, also the fact that the Soul Vanguard is a mono fire type makes it that the Arclite Shroud is just so much better, because a mono type armor is okay, but you always want to have a dual armor, and that's just my opinion. But I really feel that if you have one weakness, you're always going to find yourself in some sort of a pinch situation when it comes down to the arena. Now, what I've also heard, and I've written it down, it's actually quite funny. I've seen some people talk in the line chat, in some group chats, and they were absolutely right when it comes down when they said, quote, the Arclite Shroud should be called the Runic Robes version 2.0. So, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the armors both have earth and fire elements. So that basically means it's the same armor which we're talking about. But The Arclite Shroud in both the regular and plus version exceeds the attack and the defensive stats of the Runic robes by far. And by this I'm talking about over 100 attack and over 100 defense. You might think it's just 100 stats, but it's just what I'm saying is, this is both war epics we're talking about. We're not talking about the boss epic, about the boss armor or anything. We're talking about war epics. People spend a lot of gems and a lot of money and a lot of time and effort in order to get these epics. But if you get blown away by a new epic like this, I cannot help but feeling bad for the people spending a lot of money on this, you know. Like I said before, I really feel that the Arclite Shroud is a little bit too early. You know, the release, they brought it out a little bit too early. That's just my opinion. What I'm more curious about is your opinion. So the question of the video is, if you had the Soul Vanguard or the Runic robes, would you be feeling bad right now at this point with the arrival of the Arclite Shroud? Make sure to leave your comments in the comment section below, as I'm very curious to see your answers there. So with that being said, I'm very happy with this war. Actually, it's going to be a lot very interesting. This epic is definitely a good start of the spring. As I said, this epic is really amazing. Really like the way it looks. I wish I could get it myself. It would be amazing if I could. But other than that, I'm really gonna look forward to see what the Guild War is going to bring us. I'm pretty sure Death Knights is probably going to get in first place. But other than that, top 25 is going to be fairly interesting. Top 10 is also going to be fairly interesting. And our ranking is for us going to be fairly interesting as well. So make sure you stay tuned this weekend for more updates on the actual Guild War results. Every single day I'll be bringing out those results to you guys. And other than that, I'm going to round up the things off here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Very informative comparisons. I don't know if you guys actually like it. Make sure to talk about it in the comment section below as well. And as always, if you guys like this video, make sure to boom, give it a thumbs up. This was Reversal for Knights and Dragons. I will be signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one.